So, this is a PSA for anyone who is flying soon, especially if you have a connection. Just because you carry on your luggage does not mean your stuff is safe. Let me share my travel nightmare story with you real quick as I unpack my carry on here. So, last year there was that big CrowdStrike outage that impacted travel and banking and all that good stuff. So, I had a cruise planned with several of my girlfriends through Virgin Voyages where we were going to Greece for several days. And it just so happened to be during that CrowdStrike outage. Well, the first of my flights from Spokane, Washington to Athens, Greece was actually canceled, and they rebooked me on a flight for the next day. So hopefully that outage was going to be corrected. It was. But during that time, I decided that I was going to carry on all of my luggage. So I had this backpack and I had another carry on suitcase. Make the first leg of my flight from Spokane to Dallas. Everything was all good. Everything was fine. However, the second leg of my flight from Dallas to Athens was severely delayed, and so much so that I was going to actually miss my cruise. Got off that flight, and they were able to rebook me on a flight that was going to actually make it into Athens with plenty of time, right? However, as soon as I get there, the person at the gate is like, hey, looks like we're not going to be able to fit all of your luggage in the overhead bin. I said that's fine, even though I was on premium economy and they were supposed to have overhead bin space saved for me. Still fine, they were going to put my luggage down below for me. However, that didn't happen. Apparently, my luggage actually got left there at the gate. And I landed in Athens with plenty of time to spare, well, a few minutes to spare to make my cruise, but my luggage was actually still there in Dallas. My luggage stayed there in Dallas for a few days. It eventually made it to London. And at some point, it made it to Athens. I think it actually made it to Athens by the time I made it back to the States. But so, yeah, this is just a lesson to everyone out there that just because you plan on carrying on your luggage does not mean that your luggage will still make it to your destination. So, long story short, if you are planning on traveling anytime soon and you still planning on carrying on, that's fine. However, just be very careful if they ask you to check your bag, even though you plan on carrying on. And just be very adamant about checking to make sure that they actually put your bag on with all of the rest of the baggage. Don't end up like me and end up in Santorini trying to buy underwear and pajamas and clothing for like 8 or 9 days. It's not as fun as it sounds. Thankfully, though, I had this guy because, as you can see, I fit quite a bit in it. I actually had one extra change of clothes and an extra pair of shoes. But that was it, other than my toiletries. So, yeah, good times.